All right, thank you.
So, you know, and Mario attests to this, that Glow with Your Hands in 2019 was a, you know, we went through the whole thing and actually had an amazing a career day. And we had no plans of a virtual event ever. We were in the midst of planning 2020. We were 1,500 kids. We were going to set all records. We were very aggressive with that. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. And the thought was from the team was, if we don't run something this year, all the momentum that we gained by a successful event in 19 would be lost in 2020 and possibly not able to recapture. You know, when you're strictly funded through business. Hi,
I'm sorry, I was a couple of minutes behind. I was trying to wiggle out of our management meeting.
yeah,
I'm Michelle Green from the White Plains area.
it's nice
Yes.
to meet you, Michelle.
We had to rush because Jay has a hard stop at 3. So,
Sorry about that.
yeah, that's okay. We wouldn't typically start without you.
So, you know, as we looked at it, we said, look, if we don't do something in 2020 and we're not going to do something in person, we're going to lose all the goodwill, and mostly the goodwill from business. Business is sponsoring us at about 95% of the cost. I mean, we have some elected officials, some Workforce Development Institute money, but it's very, very small. $500 here, you know, money like that. 95% of our funding comes from local business.
Really?
Local business isn't seeing that show, then we're not going to get that funding any longer.
So if we could just back up a second.
Sure.
So what came first? Like, you have your deliverables, your website, your actual event, like, you know, like
So,
how long
yeah.
ago did you start it? How did you get it going? Are you
Okay.
the director of the?
There is no, so that's what's funny about this. There is no director, there is no Glow with Your Hands lead agency. We just all got together as partners and said, let's just do this. Yeah, I convened the meetings and together with Chris Swazi from Genesee County Economic Development Corp, it was the idea to replicate what was going on in the Finger Lakes with Finger Lakes Works with Your Hands. That's when we had a meeting. This goes back to October of 18. Mary, I don't know if you remember that meeting here. We had about 40 people come in when we offered it up to all of our partners, saying, come on in, be part of this. And we brought in the director of the Workforce Development Board for Finger Lakes Works, Karen Springmeyer. She's now retired, and she told us, and we went and saw her event and said, yep, we can do this in our area, our Glow area. You know, and then we all went to work, whether, you know, you were doing sponsorship or recruiting volunteers or school engagement or, you know, any of the other activities at vendor committee and logistics. We just all separate went to work on our areas. For me, it was actually gaining sponsors, businesses, convincing them to part with $5,000, which I think we recruited $40,000 in sponsorships from local business in the first year, including one local construction firm in Livingston County that provided us not only with $10,000, but then put in a walkway to the fairgrounds where we held the event. An 81-foot concrete paid for all the materials for that. They are so in need of help, and they so want to get into the schools to say, here we are, we're offering these great jobs, and you guys have no idea what we do and what we offer. So this was our routine. The event then started to take place where nobody was going to come in and lecture to kids. We weren't going to say, all right, if you come in with our career, we're going to offer you these benefits. We're going to offer you this pay, and you know, you're going to get Mother's Day off. You're going to get this day off. No, that's not what we said. You bring in a interactive plan. So we had National Grid sync a utility pole, so kids could get harnessed up and see what it's like to, you know, climb up that utility pole. Yeah, you make great money, especially after a windstorm, but are you going to want to do that? We had a brick wall that kids built. We had a bulldozer out there where kids were pushing around the stone, pushing around the dirt and having their opportunity to do that. We had a welding simulator, couple of big businesses in Glow with welding, with some really good pay. So we went ahead and we had a welding simulator. The only concern we had with that, we didn't have a lot of locks on our doors. When they brought it in overnight news, he said, no, this is only a $150,000 machine. You are going to have security. And I said, yeah, I'm here. I'll be staying all night now. So, we learned our lessons as we were moving along. But we wanted interactive. We wanted a kid to get off that equipment, especially if he was already interested or she was already interested, and say, this is what I want to do. And I think that's what we sold. We went to service clubs to recruit volunteers. And that was the one area we really never had a problem with. We probably could have had as many volunteers as we had kids the first year. And we had 800 kids.
Whoa.
All right. So everybody wanted to be part of it. There were those agencies that were far more helpful than others, but everybody wanted to be part of it. Everybody wanted to come and see it. So we had this successful day. 800 kids came in.
But Jay, we also got sponsors to feed the kids. So
right. So we had this little mama papa restaurant in Wyoming County, who, together with the local football team, put 1,000 meals, box lunches together for us. And I think they charged us about $400 for about 1,000 lunches. You can figure out the cost of that. You're right. And, everybody, American Rock Salt gave us hard hats. It just kept on going on and on, where if they weren't giving us actual cash, they were giving us in-kind service, even through some volunteer programs. So, but when it was all said and done, go ahead, Mary.
No, and in return, like the sponsors, we had various levels of sponsorship. So you had, premium.
Yeah, we have the platinum, gold,
Right.
silver, and then down to bronze. And if
So
you
that-
did an in-kind service worth $500, you got a bronze sponsorship. So
Who held the money? Like, when you got the money
Good
as a
question.
government entity?
very, very difficult, because nobody in our area wanted to hold the money. So the fairgrounds
The
is a
fairgrounds.
501c3, and they were willing to hold the money, and they still actually are willing to hold the money. The fairgrounds we had maybe a perfect storm, because the fairgrounds needed people to know who they were. They hadn't had successful county fairs recently and all that, and they said, come use the fairgrounds. And when we heard come use the fairgrounds, Chris and I were at their next meeting, say, we're going to come and use your fairgrounds and really promote it. And have been helping them with that ever since. So they're holding the money right now. That is not the best situation in the world for us. But again, my grant recipient is Livingston County. They're not going to touch that money. They want nothing to do with holding that money.
Access VR is not going to hold it.
Nobody's going to, anybody that has auditing departments to come in and check on them is not touching that money. Fairgrounds, very little oversight on folks like that, especially just holding money. So we're okay. I think as time goes on, we may run into some issues with that. One of my entities is starting to incorporate. We're actually thinking that they may become the holder of those funds at some point. I don't know, but that's just a thought down the road. But again, a problem for the future. So again, the first event was the in-person event in September of 2019. We went out and we invited every local official, elected official, television station, radio, news outlets to get in and publicize what we did. We had no real advertising dollars that we wanted to spend. So we just got everybody to come in and do, and I thought we got some really good press. I actually, after the day after we cleaned up, I had to be in Albany at 9 a.m. and I left about 4 in the morning. When I got there, the NIATEP office was saying the only thing they're talking about in Albany right now is Glow with Your Hands.
Yeah.
So we were successful in getting that far out. In fact, the director of the New York State Workforce Office of, I don't know how they say it. I don't know what the name of it is. The Workforce Development Office. There, Mathery Camaretti actually attended our event. So, and she was, she's since gone, but I mean, we had, for a while there, we thought the governor was coming, things like that. So we did really well with that part of it with no budget. Cleaned it up, all done, had a little bit of money, seed money left over. And then, of course, where I was beginning to explain about, started planning 2020. Pandemic hits. We have this amazing start. Again, we have people's money that we're holding, and we did not want to lose that momentum. So we have the 2 stars of the virtual event are Karen Winters from the Genesee County Business Education Alliance and Angela Grouse from Livingston County Chamber of Commerce. They took, first of all, if I were to have to go with a virtual event, there would be no virtual event, I will tell you. If you asked me to share my screen right now, I would need a manual. So, and everybody in every committee that we have knows this. So I'm more of the person that's going to go out and do the hands-on stuff, but I am thrilled to bring partners together to do a virtual event as well. So what we did when we started looking at, and that includes Mary Access VR's partnerships, all the business education alliances from the area chambers of commerce, all the E&T offices, employment and training offices throughout GLOW were involved, and I would say 10 to 15 other business and community-based organizations got into this. And we said, all right, what do we want to do? And we focused in on the 4 big areas that we had done with the virtual, excuse me, with the in-person event in manufacturing, skilled trades, agriculture, of course, in this area. And then we added on, the 4th one was food processing, because of our abundance of milk farms, milking cows. We have a lot of, we have HP Hood, we have Owatka Milk, we have Creative Foods, Barilla, all those that are food processing plants. So we added that as a 4th career option. Then those 4 career options we showed, and I don't know if you've seen the site.
Yeah, no, I have it up right now.
Okay, so you'll see that each of those careers were, the careers in those locations are under those career clusters, you could call it. We identified as the most in need in this area. Then we went out and we took iPhones. And I don't know how to do this, okay? I really don't. But we took iPhones and we did local interviews. Every one of those interviews that you see are done locally by our partners. We went out and many of them were done by Angela and Karen. Yeah. And edited by other people and then put up onto that site. But what we added onto that site where if you've seen it, you'll see that we talk about the job description. We talked about the outlook, anything that you would see when you're doing a typical career exploration. Okay. And
the local training programs, the salaries,
Yeah, so I have it up right now.
Right.
So,
And if you look to the right here, where I'm pointing to like Barilla, these are actual links that you can go right into and see what job they're offering currently. So it became not only a career exploration tool for our in-school youth, but for our kids coming into career centers that might have already had that skill, they could go right in there and look for that job. So it became more of just that classroom tool. The key to this, I think what made this, has made this so successful is, first we thought we'll do a career day, but trying to sync up 25 school districts into one career day during a pandemic is very challenging. So what we decided to do is make it a career tool for them. Classrooms now are using it as a career day, only they're doing it on their schedule. They can go in and look anytime they want to. A kid in 9th grade is thinking about going over to Genesee Valley BOCES for their CTE program. They can look at this prior to even going over to investigate the classroom studies over there. So we went on and on with this. Now, there's some concerns with the virtual site. One is it wasn't really great with a cell phone. Now, if you are trying to recruit youth, you better have it be adaptable to a cell phone, because I know I have 3 grandchildren that I don't know, out of mutation or whatever happened, that their phone is now attached to them physically. In fact, I believe you would need surgery to remove it. So they did all those things, and we convened a focus group of youth to say, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? I think some of us, I don't know, Mary, what do you think? I think some were upset about the way the kids responded,
Yep.
but I
But
think I
that's the-
reminded those people that you can't ask a youth for a direct
View
answer
it the
and then
same
be
way,
upset
right.
at be upset at the results. We love it. So we put money now into our budget to enhance the virtual site. You know, one of the big careers we have to at some point in time add on in Glow is healthcare. If we don't do healthcare pretty soon, we're really missing the boat. It is, you know, I believe 64% of all of our trainings this year were based on healthcare related jobs. So we need to get there. And the virtual site goes on. You know, we will continue to operate the virtual site going forward as long as we have funding to do so. You know, and we are looking at other creative ways to come up with money to make sure, funding to make sure that these exist into the future. One of the things is we've started offering businesses premium memberships. So a premium membership right now is $2,500 per year. Excuse me, I'm sorry, let me back up, $5,000 per year. So $2,500 of that $5,000 goes to Glow with Your Hands. They also get a membership into their Business Education Alliance for that county. Okay, which typically cost them like $250 anyway, but they're in. Then if they want an interactive activity at Glow with Your Hands in person, they're in. They get it. Because they're sponsors, they're automatically in. When we have our signing day at BOCES, so when the kids sign with a business, we have big cameras and everything, and we make a big deal of it, just like an athlete going to UB as on a Division I scholarship. We sign our kids up and say, hey, congratulations, and make a big event out of that. They are invited to talk to those kids, especially if it's in their career interests. Boot camps for apprenticeships apprenticeships, or pre-apprenticeship programs they're invited to. So they're going to get the first seat at the table. And we've been successful in Genesee County. I think we've gotten 7 of those memberships, which, by the way, has funded this year's programs, because that's $35,000 right there. So we're doing well with that membership. So future, what are we going to do? We're going back on September 28th, and I would invite you down to visit, especially on Hard Hat Day when we need the help. But this year, I'm a little concerned about reaching out and inviting, because we may even have to develop what we call a counter as people come in and people leave. Currently, the maximum amount of people we can have at a live event outdoors is 500, and that includes everyone. So we're a little concerned right now. We're already at about 800. So, and we'll cap it right around there. So we are a little concerned, but we also know that September is still, 5 months off. And from our health director's standpoint, what they're saying is keep on going the way you're going. There's probably going to be a way that number increases as vaccinations get out and things like that. So we're in pretty good shape to do both. So, I think the virtual event only enhances what we do in person, but we are very, very strict about making sure that this is an in-person, hands-on event. And I tell everybody that I talked about this, we had a kid from Oakfield get off of the bulldozer as he waited in turn to go, and came up and told us this is the best day of his life. Okay, we got and I will run another 20 years. No, I won't run another 20 years. Sorry, maybe 7. But we are creating in Glow a pipeline of kids that start in 4th grade with lunch and learns through into Glow with Your Hands, learning about the great careers that exist in those buildings that they drive by every day on the way to school and have no clue what's inside of them. And we're creating a workforce that's going to be prepared to go and be that skilled worker that we so desperately need. And I think our businesses have bought into it. And I think as long as we're putting, in future, we're looking at 2,000 kids. That's what we want down the road. We have the room to do it. We're just not, we're just being very, very cautious this year because of the pandemic and the safety protocols that are in place right now. So I hope I know that's not a brief overview, but I'm passionate about it. I love what's happened with it. I love the fact that we had 30 partners come together and not one turf issue. Not one time did anybody ever cause a problem, say, no, I'm not going to do this. I can't do this.
No, that's not true.
Uh-oh.
I said I
Maybe
wasn't going to clean out those horse stalls at the fair.
Yeah, well, yeah,
But that's
they were
my-
difficult.
That's one of my questions is, when you say we, would it be possible to get a list of like your stakeholder groups so we could kind of correlate who our locals would be? Like, was it your youth bureaus, your community college, your business organizations?
So I can try to, I'll get you something like that. I will tell you off the bat, workforce development, Access VR, economic development in all four areas, business
Community
education,
colleges,
couple
couple of
BOCES,
chambers, BOCES,
schools, business.
Job Corps,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Do you guys have a Job Corps in your
Yeah.
facility?
Yeah.
They
Not
can be
in
very
our-
helpful to you.
Yeah.
Just
not
be
in
very
our-
careful because that was one of our concerns. So make sure if you do an in-person event, make sure you have an ambulance with 2 paramedics walking around.
So just to recap, you started off as in-person, it migrated to this website because of COVID. It was
Yes.
never your intention. So that's really fortuitous actually to have this website because it's fabulous. And that's how you got on our radar because Michelle passed the website on to us. And then I was like, this is amazing. This is what we need. So when you were selling the sponsorships, like I can just imagine, Michelle, you might concur, that it would be tough for us to sell to the county government entities this idea of asking businesses for $5,000. And Michelle, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it depends on how it's packaged and who asks for the money.
I agree. And I was going to say, tap into your economic development people.
Okay,
That's right.
okay.
We
Yeah.
are so fortunate to have Genesee County EDC. I'm not sure if you're aware of Genesee County EDC, but they're one of the top economic development groups in the state. Steve Hyde runs it and he speaks at NIATEP conferences all the time, only because he's the guy, he's into everything. And he sees exactly what we see. And I partnered with his workforce development person. And we took one look at the GlowWorks website, or excuse me, the Finger Lakes Works website and said, yeah, we can do this. And but again, Chris and I wouldn't have gotten it done. It was really, we said yes to everybody. To give you an idea how little turf issues there were, the county manager for Genesee was our parking attendant.
Yeah.
And I was a little worried, asking him to wear an orange vest. I told him he looked good in orange. This guy loved it. He had so much fun out there. I also have my Department of Labor supervisor who supervises the 4 offices here. He was also out there in the parking lot. And there was no, that's not a good, you can't make a county manager go out and park cars for an event. I mean, that's just unheard of. And he had more fun than you would ever, he just had a blast. And that's what I mean. Again, Mary, I can't remember, other than maybe our logistics coordinator who got mad at us because we didn't run it his way. So we got rid of him. And I mean, he never made it to the event,
Nope.
the first event.
But then,
Because-
we had Teresa step up and you step up and everybody did what we could. And, we had maps of where the buses come and where they go and we don't know, oh my God, what time is this school district coming? What time is there? Because you're moving them through. But we got it. And it happened, and you're absolutely right. I think it's because of nobody has turf issues. Everybody, okay, what do you want me to do? I'm there, I'll be there. Just tell me what you want me to do.
I asked for, we had to put you, when you get a hard hat, you have to actually snap in the piece inside of it. We had 1,500 of them. I asked one day, I said, hey, we're gonna start doing hard hats at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think it was like on a Wednesday. And
Mhm.
we're gonna go until we get them done. Was it 15, 16 people we had?
Yep.
Done in an hour, 1,500 helmets in an hour. It's just, it was one of those things where, and you walk away thinking, boy, we're in pretty good shape here, because if I can make one email and 15 people show up and get that job done in an hour, everybody was having a blast. And I'm telling you, the facility that we did this in, dark, open,
Dank,
cold,
old.
and everybody's just laughing. Everybody was just having a great time. And that's what happened throughout. I mean, we had mistakes. We had Orleans County, their schools had not signed up. So the local blog newspaper, online newspaper, decided to shame them by saying, Glow with Your Hands is doing well, and the schools, Orleans County schools, have not joined us. Why are they not going to this?
Trouble.
And now,
Oh, how old were the kids from the schools? Like, was it like
9th through
official
12th graders,
10 through 12th graders?
9th through
Ninth.
12th, yeah.
9th through 12th.
And through to-
But what
It
happened
was a
was,
sanctioned school district event.
yes, well,
Yes.
the problem is Orleans County blamed us for that article and we didn't get them that year.
Oh,
And they were angry. I mean, I had superintendents calling me for weeks,
oh,
yelling at me about, why are you shaming us? I said, I didn't shame you. It was your reporter that shamed you. We didn't even have anything to do with the article.
wow.
This was all on his. But what we did was we invited every superintendent as a guest for Glow with Your Hands. Come have lunch with us, see what we did. If you like it, come next year. And they all did. And guess what? Most of them are already signed up for this year.
Wow.
So we overcame that problem. But again, you're going to run into some roadblocks that you didn't anticipate. You need to have one person that's coordinating everything. And that person, and everybody has a full-time job. I know that. But you will get bogged down with this. There were days when I was doing that where I would start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I look up, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I hadn't done any of my work yet. But I also had my board chair moving hard hats and everything else around one day. And I told him, I said, I'm way behind. He said, don't even worry about it. He says, make this go. So again, no worries with supervision, no worries with anybody on those things. So make sure you talk to somebody about liability insurance, especially the facility that you hold it at. They can put a rider on it, probably no cost at all for the day, because
Was it all outside, or did you have it in some fairground buildings?
there were definitely some fairground buildings, definitely some outside. So, and we prayed for warm and dry weather. The day before it poured,
Yeah.
and the next day was absolutely stunning, beautiful. So we were lucky. Now, I did go to an event. We did go to an event the year before in the Finger Lakes where
Pouring.
it just poured. Yep. And guess what? Everybody
still
just went out and got wet and still had a great time. So,
So did you,
Yep.
I know you have to go, and I just want to ask you, do you have to go?
no, give me 2-3 more minutes. I'll give you 2-3 more minutes.
Okay. When you went to your employers and you told them that they had to make it hands-on, like how did you manage that in
We
terms
told
of
them that they were going to get charged.
curating?
Yeah, we told them they're going to get charged. If they come to the event without a hands-on, first of all, they probably wouldn't be able to go. 2, we told them that this is not a lecture event. We want kids excited. And I think they saw the need for that. A couple of them called me and said, Chad, I don't know what to make interactive. And we asked them, what do you do? So, well, we do this. I said, can you show a demonstration? But take that demonstration, turn it into something that the kids can do. And they did. They got very creative with it. We had lots of time because we were starting a year in advance. So, but then they got really creative by bringing things like a welding simulator. Can you imagine a $150,000 piece of equipment coming out for kids to play with? Our HVAC person built a furnace that day. They were building a furnace in front of these kids, and these kids were getting in to go in and tie wires together and see how that system works. Again, we had 800 kids float concrete. That walkway is still gorgeous. It's out there and it's functional. And that's the other very important thing. There's some pride in this, and that those kids come back to the fairgrounds. I built that. And there's nothing better than that as far as leadership opportunities and those types of things. By the way, I know you're Access VR. I want you to know that the first school that went through our program was the New York State School for the Blind. Okay, we absolutely made sure. Well, first of all, we had these Access VR partners that said, you better allow for youth with disabilities. And you know, Mary and I had worked on something when I was a youth counselor a few years before.
Years
here,
ago.
Transition fair. And apparently that went well, but they thought I had damaged enough kids and said, all right, let's make you the workforce board director where you can't hurt youth any longer. So
Yeah, right.
I want you to know that I am available. I love talking about it. I will be glad to help you get anything off the ground. You know, if there's another time that you need to set up a call, I'm glad to do it. If you want to come down and see what we're doing at the fairgrounds, I'm not sure. Well, White Plains is a distance.
No, I would love to come up, but definitely. I drive up there all the time to see my family in
Yeah,
Buffalo,
just
so,
let us know
Yeah.
and we'll give you a tour of it. You know,
yeah,
again, I'm a little concerned about numbers the day of the event.
yeah.
But, you know, we'll keep you posted on what those numbers should look like in September. And if you want to tour it, I did tours all day long for elected officials and everybody else. I didn't really get to participate in anything, but I went around and I did the tours for the elected officials and dignitaries while everybody else was doing them with the kids. But we could show it to you and help you get these things off the ground.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
Well,
And,
I know you have to go.
yeah. Anytime you want to invite me down to White Plains,
Yeah.
down there for a conference 15 years ago. I loved it. I wanted to get in and watch a Yankees game, but they
Yeah.
told me no. I said, so I missed a couple of seminars. I mean, in the big picture, what's more important, right?
Michelle, I don't know about you, but I'd love to have
Yes,
Jay and
absolutely.
Mary come down, tell us, show us it could be done to get over the hurdles that people will object and make excuses.
Yep. Don't be afraid. Just keep on being a bulldozer. Pardon the pun there with the machines that we use, but that's what you do. You just keep on moving
Yep.
forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
We'll
It's
definitely
nice
be
to-
calling on you again.
Yep. I'll be here.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye, Mary.
Sherry,
Yes.
Sherry, do you want to wait for one quick minute?
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Mary.
you. Thank you so much.
Good meeting you. See you tomorrow.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks, Mary. So,
I think it's awesome. And I think, with all the work that we do and all the conversations we have, it's just talk
I know.
about all the problems and all the issues. And I really love this action oriented.
Right.
It's like we have these symposiums, we talk ad nauseum about the fact that this career
Yep.
information doesn't make it into the schools and that
Yep.
all these kids are being corralled into 4-year degrees when it's not right for them and all.
Right.
And this is like exactly the kind of thing
Right.
we need.
Right.
So I had
Um,
told Tom that we were doing this call. I actually invited him, but I said, do you want me to do reconnaissance for you? And he said, yes. So I think probably I recorded it.
Good. I also
so-
wanted you to know that,